Juan Fernandez. I'm a professor at CEIBS, and this series of video presentations are based on my new book, The Full Life. It's a book that is based on a course I teach at CEIBS to executives and degree programs. This is a picture of the location where I teach the course. It's in Zhejiang province, which is 2 hours away from Shanghai. We go to this retreat center, spend 2 days together, where we explore their lives, the purpose, the values, even do some meditation and walking in the beautiful surroundings of the retreat center. And the basic idea of this course is to explore what is important in their life and what is the life they want to live. Regarding myself, I have a PhD, ISC and University of Navarra. Also, I have a degree in psychology from the University of Harvard and philosophy from University of Oxford. And all this is included in my course, plus my own life experience and the feedback I got from my students. This is my website in case you want to visit and know more about my activities. Now, let's go to the topic of this video, the art of living. And why I use art and not science? Because I think life is not something that you can program 100%. There are many things that happen in your life. There are opportunities, crises, things that change your plans. And it's very important that you adapt your life of those things that are happening. For that reason, I use art. The course is based on 3 stages. First part is exploration of your current life, how you feel about your life as it is now, and what are the areas in which you feel there is a gap. The next step is creation, and it's about creating an ideal life, the life that you would like to live. And the last step is action. The previous steps are useless if you don't do anything about it. But before we start with those 3 stages, let's talk about success in life. If I ask the people that are watching these videos, what is success for them? Probably I will get hundreds of different definitions. Depends on your personality, the stage in life where you are, your circumstances, your country, your age, your gender, so many variables that it's impossible to have one definition of success. But I want to give you some guide. On one side, you have wealth, recognition, fame, power, and work as a career. That means work to obtain all those things. And that is an external point of view on success. It's from the outside. On the other hand, we have family, friendship, purpose, and work as a meaning. And that's the internal approach to success. So one side is about external success, external signs of success. On the other is internal signs of success. And those are not contradictory. Actually, you have a combination of both. Depends very much on what is your stage in life, your personal circumstances, or what you want. That gives you a certain guide of why success can be very different from different people. I would like to talk now about Aristotle. Aristotle was a Greek philosopher, and he talked about the good life. Actually, he used a Greek term, eudaimonia, that some people translate as happiness, others as flourishing. So I prefer the definition of flourishing because that gives the image of planting a seed and become what you can be, the best version of yourself. So he talked about meaning and purpose in your life, the importance of relationship and giving, virtue, what is more or less to develop your talents, and sufficient wealth. He doesn't talk about poverty or super rich, but enough wealth to have a life that you want. And very important, he talked about self-determination. You are free to choose that life, based on an important factor, rationality. Another tradition that I consider is the Indian tradition. And they divide life in 4 stages. And each stage has different responsibilities. A student, to learn to become a productive member of society. The householder, they have certain duties as a member of society, provide for the family, and accumulate sufficient wealth. Semi-retired, where you share your knowledge and your wealth for the benefit of others. And retired, where you go away for the normal problems of society and the world, and then you think more about your life and prepare yourself for the last stage of your life. A more modern tradition coming from psychology and the happiness movement. Here we have Martin Seligman, published a book, Authentic Happiness. He mentioned this acronym, PERMA, that stands for positive emotions, because it's very difficult to have a fulfilling life if you are in a depression. Engagement, that you have to do something, a job, an occupation. Relationship, in psychology they say that your relationship is most important determinant of your happiness. Meaning, and finally, accomplishment. And if you think of these 5 conditions, they are not so different from what Aristotle was telling us. And including Martin Seligman refer very often Aristotle as one of the role models that he considered in his publications. Summarizing everything I said, we talk about success, and we could put success in a continuum. On one side here I put success, on the other failure. Some people consider that the opposite of success is failure. However, I don't think like that. I consider that success and failure are the 2 sides of the same coin. What is opposite to success is doing nothing. Now, the people that do nothing are victims. They complain, they are not so lucky, they are not successful, and they blame the circumstances or others for their lack of success. On the other side, we have the fighter. If they fall 5 times, they get up 6 times. They learn from their failures to become stronger and improve. So the victims focus more on what they cannot control, while the fighters focus on what they can control. So on what side are you? In this course, it's very important you are on the fighter side, because those are they can do something about their lives. I want to finish this part with this quote by a Roman emperor, Marcus Aurelius. He said, "What stands in the way becomes the way." And I think it's a great lesson to take into account. Don't expect that a good life is a life that no worries, no problems, no failures. They are, you will have them, but it's that definition of what is being successful. Always be a fighter, and from those obstacles you find in the way, you become better. So here is the journey I propose you in these presentations. We have done the first step in the journey, departure, talking about success. The next one is about exploration, is about your current life. The next will be creation of the ideal life that you want to live. And the final is action. What are the things you can do to achieve this ideal life? And that would be the arrival, and hope that we can arrive together to that destination. But remember, be a fighter. So the next session is going to be about exploration of your life. I'll see you next. Thank you very much.